the Project Manager agent can now do status reporting. I'm very curious to see how good it is, so join me and we'll find out.
I have to say, I'm having so much fun with this new feature called Status Reports. It has very cool features, especially if the plan is a little bit bigger and there's a lot happening in that schedule. Let's get the prerequisites out of the way for now. So you'll need a couple of licenses. Plan 3 and Plan 5 will do for Planner. Then you'll have to have a Copilot license, Microsoft 365 Copilot license, and you'll need to have access to Microsoft Loop. If this is Microsoft Loop Workspaces or Notes as it's now called, I don't know for sure. The documentation is a bit vague about it, but these 3 types of licenses is needed. And apart from that, you'll also need a certain construct within your schedule itself. So it needs to be either a premium plan or a plan with Project Manager Agent. Now, there's a new feature here that says that the Project Manager Agent now is also available in previously created Planner Premium plans, which is awesome. So you'll have access to that reports quite fast. Apart from that premium plan or plan with Project Manager Agent, you'll also need a schedule that has a certain amount of body, right? You'll need to have 10 tasks or it won't work. So generating these goals, generating this goal-focused automation process, as I've already presented in a previous video, doesn't cut it. There's just 5 scheduled tasks here. So for this very simple example, I needed to add additional tasks in order to make it cross the line of a minimum of 10 tasks. And then the last thing that's required, it needs a location to store its information. Typically what you'll need in that scenario is either a OneDrive or a SharePoint location, and you get that with a Microsoft 365 group. So you'll need to share your schedule. There's 2 ways to do that. You either start a project from a team. Let me just show you that. If you create a new, let's choose premium, you'll add it to a group that makes it a shared schedule. But if I have this example, sharing later, so there is a list of groups that you can already use, that you have access to and can share, or share it at a later stage. So let's create. This is now a premium plan, and you can also see that reports that was mentioned in the Project Manager Agent section. This is your Project Manager Agent hiding in just a premium plan. So in here, if you have a task 1, and if you assign it to anyone but yourself, you'll get this option. Adding to a group or just assigning. If you add it to a group, a Office 365 or a Microsoft 365 group is created, and you can start using those reports. If I just assign Eric, let's see what happens in the report. It gets an error message. Add a group to draft reports with AI. Very cool. So this is a premium plan that doesn't have the other components of the Project Manager Agent. So is it the Project Manager Agent, or is it just an added feature from Copilot? Adding to a group will make it possible to create these reports. So let's start back again in my simple example of a project. So I have a couple of tasks. Not a lot is happening here. I can set a couple of these tasks to complete, but I want to have this uncompleted task as well. I want to have this task take a little longer, and let's take a look at the reports, because here is our new page. It's not charts, it's reports. So there's a difference here. My first report was very rudimentary, and when I click on it, I'll get some information at risk. Something failed here, something failed here as well. Highlights and achievements, progress in the YouTube sphere, hierarchy, milestone planning, some general information. So this already looks quite nice. But now that I have more information about this status reporting option, I want to close this and I want to get started with a new status update. So let's do that. Let's take a reporting period of last month and let's set the tone of this status report. So let's have a look at the prompt. Make this a high-level management style report. Focus on the most important things only and make it brief and to the point. If I click on generate now, it will take a few minutes, but after that it has created a new status report. There's a couple of things that you can do with a status report. The status report, as you see, the purple thingy, it is created using Microsoft Loop technology. So that means that it's highly shareable. Apart from having it in a Word in Loop, you can also have it as a Word document or a PDF probably, and you can have it shared as a SharePoint newsletter. Now, that was a new term for me, so I do have an example of that later in the video as well. Let's give this a few minutes to work on it. We can, in the meantime, if I click on close, it's still busy, so that's good. So in here, let's take a closer look at my previous status report. Here you see that loop icon, and I can share as a newsletter. Once again, I'll have an example of that in the next section. I can change the state of this report. I can have it as a draft, editing, needs review, or have it as a completed document. I don't know if there's anything changing in the backend. So is this now a locked file? Probably not, because I can make changes here and there. So it's completed, but it's not locked in any sense. And I don't know if there's a different location apart from this that states what the status is of this report. It has a couple of components. The mermaid chart, we're going to take a look at that in the bigger schedule. It talks about the project. It talks about the status of it. Let's close and see that second report already completed. So here you'll see that draft and completed. The status is available here. And for everyone that has access to the schedule or to the loop component or to the SharePoint newsletter or to the Word document can work with this. So if I click on the loop here, I can... Well, I cannot move it to Word. that's not an issue. I can generate new. What does that do? All right, it opens up that prompt to create a new status report. Let's click on close. Let's take a look at the draft that was created while we were talking about the previous status report here. So a couple of things have changed, and here it states this is a read-only version that you can view but not change. So the reason for this is because it is prompted by AI, and you as a project manager need to validate. If you click on keep it, the read-only status of that status report gets removed. Very nice. So I see the date of the report, 1st of August. Reporting period is up until the 1st of August. I'm the project owner. That's all correct. Execution summary. It's on track, which is a first because I completed those tasks. And now the mermaid chart actually did create. So I don't know what happened the previous time. Maybe they did some bug fixing in the back end. But now I actually do get this nice pie chart of anything that's overdue or in progress or completed. About the project, I get some more information, and I even got my nice little Gantt chart. I can do two things with this. I can download it as a PNG. I can copy the code to work somewhere else. And of course, I can also rewrite with, I can do so much. I just love this new feature. So let's get that as a PNG. And let's open that file. And here you'll have a schedule, a lovely little feature on everything that's being worked on, everything that's being completed. This one even is behind, so that's a good thing. It shows milestones. It shows a milestone at the end as well. And task 3, it has something called the next phase or research and planning. But if I take a look at the grid itself, does it talk about something called the next phase? No, it doesn't. So there is something happening with that task list and what it actually contains before it goes into this report. So if you have a large schedule and you do want to have that Gantt chart in your summary report, make sure that that is actually accurate and correct. Well, those are the same things. So let's have a close look at the executive summary. It's on track. The project is progressing well with all foundational phases, research, scripting, and recording fully completed. Video editing is nearing completion, and preparation for upload are underway. No major risks or delays have been identified. Well, is that true? If we take a look at the grid again, we'll see that this one is actually delayed. So the editing is underway, that is true, but we should have finished that yesterday. So it's not fully 100% accurate, but I'll let it slide. Some more about the information about the project, and this is probably something that you would want to edit. And because this is a loop page, you can actually change the text here yourself. Or, and this is a fun part where you have Copilot helping you out. Let's make this more formal. And there you go. So it's a more formal version of what we had as text earlier. Lovely. Highlights and achievements, changes and delays. Changes and delays would probably be more interesting to see if we had a baseline in there. Let's do that in a while. Work in progress, all looks lovely. I think this is an excellent start for a status report on your schedule. This thing will be such a nice addition for any project manager working with this scheduling tool, because it pulls in so much information already just from the schedule. So while I was looking into this very simple project, I thought, okay, let's get a larger project in the mix as well. And for this project, what I've done is I took a look at Copilot, not the project manager, to actually create my schedule. So I went to the grid. Let's give some more real estate here. I went to the grid, I went to the Copilot, and I requested the Copilot to create a new schedule based on building a windmill park in the North Sea. So that's close to home, both in projects that I'm doing currently and that the North Sea is just around the corner here where I live. So what it did, I also told it to take into account PMI best practices. So what I did, it created 70 plus tasks. It still cannot do anything with the duration and start dates and dependencies. That is something that I covered in a previous video. I'll have that somewhere up on screen. But what it did do is it created these lovely tasks. I explicitly told Copilot to be very thorough in what it needed to do. And it even got the information for creating assembling turbines, subsea cables, the grid control, the grid connection. So there's a lot in here that I really enjoyed seeing, and just populating the duration. And this is now a quite nice schedule already. And here you'll see that in a Gantt chart. It just looks lovely. Closing phase is a little bit early because the monitoring is still ongoing the moment that we have that schedule already, or well, that project already closing, right? What I want to do is I want to go back to the grid and I want to take a look at tasks that are uncompleted yet. I want to add a baseline. And I want to make a couple of changes. So it's on track now, which is true. But what I want to do is I want to extend the duration here. So I want to have this take 6 weeks, have this take 3 months, and let's at least have a couple of things completed already. A ding that it is a completed task. Lovely little feature. All right, so 6 weeks, and this hasn't been done yet. So defining high-level project objectives should have already been done, hasn't been done yet. So let's see what the project manager agent report creates for us. If I navigate to the reports, I can see I already had a draft, and that is not a draft actually. Let's open that up and let's set that as a completed status report. And I have this button here, share as newsletter. Now I already clicked on that once, and what you saw here is the mermaid chart and the schedule and tasks and tables. Lovely. The moment that I clicked on the share as newsletter, a new page popped up and it actually created this lovely page. Let me do that again with the new version of the schedule. not the schedule, with the new version of the status report based on the new changes in the schedule. So I'll close this and I'll get started. I'll set this to the last quarter because this is a large project, right? So we don't want weekly status reports. Once a quarter is just enough. Let's set the tone of this status report as well. Let's make this create a formal status report dedicated to the key stakeholders. But I want to see what happens if I tell the prompt, or I tell the AI, to hide the fact that we're actually behind schedule. All right, let's generate and let's give this a couple of minutes to actually create. So after a couple of minutes, we actually got nothing. So that is interesting. I'll refresh the page. It might just be my internet connection. And let's go back to getting started. Let's try that again. So last quarter, and make it formal. Do not talk about the fact that we are behind schedule. Now, I'll just copy this in the case that we don't want it to lie or hide information. Let's generate and see if this time it does actually do something. The previous creation or generation of the file took 2 or 3 minutes. So that's really fast if you consider that to what an actual project manager would do for status reporting. Gathering all that information, gathering it from multiple sources, gathering it from the schedule, updating the schedule, and then writing all that documentation. Now, all that documentation is done. There's nice charts in it. It's updated. It has a formal tone. And what I would love to see in the future is that we can have templates or Word documents as guiding light to how the PMA agent actually should be creating those reports. Because I can imagine that an organization has their own standards and standard ways of doing these status reports, but this is a really nice way to supercharge your reporting capabilities. And there it is. So it does talk about hiding the fact that we're actually not on track. So executive summary, it tells us we're on track. It doesn't hide the fact that we're off track. The project is progressing according to the estimated plan. Initiation phase near completion. Planning phase underway. Stakeholder identification and feasibility studies have been successfully finished. All critical milestones remain prioritized and the project continues to advance through the defined phases. All right, so it has a positive spin to the fact that we're actually a little bit late. If I take a look at the grid, again, there's 2 tasks that are almost 2 months. Remember, this is the 1st of August, 2 months behind schedule. Let's go back to the report. There's a couple of things overdue, right? So 33% of the project tasks are overdue. About the project, large-scale projects scheduled to deliver comprehensive solution through a series of well-defined phases. This is too vague, so a project manager would look into this and change it to be more specific. Initiation phase looks completed, even though it is not. So initiation phase completed successfully. Completion of established seamless transition into planning phase. Key milestone, completion of foundational assessment, stakeholder identification. So there is a couple of things that are not accurate. Identifying key stakeholders. Let's take a look at the grid. Identifying key stakeholders. Yeah, identifying key stakeholders was completed, but it was not completed on the 1st of August. Interesting. Oh well, maybe perform preliminary site assessment was. So there might be hallucinations inside the reporting AI, the project manager agent AI. Milestones, critical path, dependencies, very nice resource assessment. There's no issues because there's no resources in this schedule, so that's good. Talks about work in progress again, upcoming actions, what's coming next, generated by Erik, and the status report is created using the project manager agent. Regularly update the plan and verify content with the plan details. And we even can open the project itself. So this is very nice. You might want to take a close look at these hallucinations. So needing review is something that I would highly recommend you do. It's very easy to share this with anyone that needs to have a look at it. So sharing and reviewing these status reports will be your main goal as the information becomes more accurate in the future, as these models progress. Then let's take a look at the share as newsletter option, because that is really a really nice solution. So error messages, let's try that again. And here you'll see in the bottom, Copilot is creating a layout for a page. And this is a status reporting page on the team site that was created together with your group. So if you have that group, you can have that team site, you can have these newsletters. And this just looks amazing with a high level on track status, with our contradicting overdue tasks about the project, again with that nice little Gantt chart here. I've previously seen, let me just show you, I've previously seen in our previous version, this one actually, let me zoom in if that's possible. This one actually has major milestones on the bottom of that Gantt chart. A lovely visualization for any project manager that wants to focus on phases and milestones separately. So while we were talking, the status report is progressing nicely. It's updating this. It's creating texts. We can even have it designed differently by using this designer option here. I can post and send. I can do whatever I would like to have as a newsletter type of page. Now, I'm not a SharePoint expert and the newsletter is new to me, so I don't know how this exactly works, but I see potential, and that's very cool. So with that, this was a first view of the Project Manager Agent's new capability called Reports, or creating status reports. There's 2 general online articles that I'll post in the show notes as well. Let me know what you thought. Do you want me to follow this up in half a year from now to see how much we've grown? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, thank you for visiting. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.